Today is garden tour day. Welcome back to my channel. This is the Yoder Homestead. I'm Karen. This is going to be my second garden tour. I always like doing these because then I get to go back and look at how everything has been growing, and it's really satisfying as a person who planted everything and gets to see it grow. So join me as we go through my garden space and my actual food garden and some of the different areas here at our home. Here we go. I'm just going to start in front of the house because I did a bunch of pots. So here, just planted these probably a week ago now. I did matching ones on either side. One right there, and one right there. This one actually has its blooms already. These are sun patience. This is going to be a vine that, hi Piper, you're going to be in the camera too, that crawls down over the side. I really love these Dichondria Silver Falls. They really fill in really well for me. And then I have two hanging baskets that are going to go back on my deck area once they have really rooted in well. This is a Calendula, Lady Godiva Calendula. Still working with my camera that doesn't like to focus. And then this is it'll fill in this whole area and kind of spill out the side of the basket as well, like how this, and then the grass is going to fill in the back area. These are really beautiful. They are Bright Lights Purple from Proven Winners. I have this one plant. This is Diamond Frost Euphorbia. This is a Dracula plant is what it's called. I'm not sure. I think I have the actual plant tags up here. A celosia called Dracula. Really cool looking leaves. And like I said, the Bright Lights Purple, Diamond Frost Euphorbia. Then here I have a, what is this called? A Gomphrena. And they look like little pom-pom balls, almost like if you've ever watched the movie The Lorax. They look like the truffula trees in flower form, which is really fun. So I have those in front of the house, and then like I said, I'm gonna move those back on the deck. And then I don't know if you can see that, my hanging basket hanging up there doesn't really have any flowers in it. It's just a lot more like kind of viney things. Up here in front of the house I have Supertunia. The purple is Bordeaux and the pink is the Vista Bubblegum. So those are really gonna get really big. I did an experiment last year. I planted Supertunia, and then I planted the Wave variety of Petunia. And the Supertunia just does a lot better for me. So that is what we're going with again. So it's gonna be like a carpet of purple and then pink, and then it goes all the way down in front here. My tulips are getting to the end of their life. You have to wait until they're that yellow looking to cut them off. So I'm waiting for them all to do that. I'm gonna just jump back here, show you this really beautiful rose. Very fragrant, beautiful rose. They smell amazing. I love the color. It's like a buttery yellow. So back here, I'm gonna try not to get my shadow in here, but these small plants are bee balm. I grew those myself. And then in here I planted seeds of bachelor's button. These are actually a little bit bigger here. So those are gonna grow, fill in this area. And then here I just have kind of grasses and evergreen things. We are going to switch around and go to the other side of the house. And I'm gonna do a peek at my raised bed area over here. This is filling in pretty nicely. I planted a creeping phlox right there, and then there's another one down the bed over there. So those will fill in and get really nice. That's a perennial and it's an evergreen. This rose though, it's like bright in the sunshine. It's so pretty and it's so loaded with beautiful flowers. They don't really have a scent. It's a double knockout rose, but I'm okay with that because they're stunning. And this plant will get pretty big, so it'll fill in a bunch of this area. This is only the second year, and I got it, when I got it at first, it was only, I would say, a quarter of that size last year. I mean, it grew obviously, and then I cut it back, but it'll keep growing and getting a lot bigger. Down here I have Mexican sunflowers. I grew those myself. They're actually now starting to put on more leaves. I just honestly felt like they're not going to do anything. And then here in the front I have volunteer sunflowers, so we're gonna let them go. They weren't huge sunflowers that I had planted there, so I'm just gonna let them go, see what they do. And then here I have the really big Fragrant Lilies that I love. This is gonna be the second year now for them, which they look a lot stronger. The stems are, oh gosh, bigger than, they're like golf ball size almost. No, not quite, but getting there. And then back here I planted some echinacea, coneflower, purple coneflower, so that'll perennialize and fill in this back area. A really deep purple color. And then in here, in between my daffodils, I planted some iris, and they are butter and sugar Siberian iris. I don't know if you can see that. Let me focus in. So those will fill in here. Then I'm gonna swing around over here. Lots of weeds still. We're working on it. These are pretty much done. It was all just daffodils in that bed, which was really pretty to look at. I have been eating strawberries every single day. There are a lot of berries on these plants. I don't know if you can see down in here. Try. There's lots of berries that are all still green. Some are like pretty red. Let's see if this one's red. Red enough to eat. So I'm gonna eat that one. But they are producing a lot of fruit. Little strawberry blessings. This is my potato bed. I'm doing really, really well. So on this side, you can see there's a little bit of a height difference. I have red French fingerling on these two rows right here, and then these two rows are German butterball on these two rows right here. Those are looking phenomenal. No bugs, no nothing, so we're speaking life to that. Down here, my parsley. I've been harvesting so much off of it, but it's still growing crazy. I'm trying to keep the tops of it from going to seed, but if it does, that's fine. I've harvested a bunch of it, and I've had people take fresh parsley home too. Oh, shadow. Here is my asparagus that I transplanted. The parsley actually helps deter asparagus beetles, so this bed is just gonna perennialize together. And they're looking good. They were looking pretty kind of sad for a while there, but there's a bunch that are standing up now, getting more straight instead of just being flopped over. This bed right here is bee balm that I planted the seeds for. Really excited to see that. This is my onion bed, which I just put compost on this and it rained on it. This is the only one that's like really getting big. So I don't know, did they need food? So now I'm kind of curious how they'll grow with this compost layer that I just put on there. So this is just my fun little raised bed area over here, which is kind of nice because last year I really just experimented on a small scale with different kinds of foods and stuff. Down here we have our pond, which is kind of covered with pollen right now. Hard to avoid because spring weather, lots of pollen. Lots and lots and lots of pollen. Here I have cat's pajamas nepeta. I'm not sure what this, it's not a bee, but I'm not sure what it is. These love these flowers. I don't know if it's a moth or something, but yeah. This is a garden mum that I actually bought one fall. This is now its third year in the ground. And it comes back amazingly every year. So now what I'm gonna do is cut it back so that the flowers, when it starts blooming in the fall, will be able to stand strong and they won't flop over. So I have one right there. I transplanted another one that survived the winter, and it's right there. So I'm kind of excited to see how those do. The Rhododendron are doing wonderful. This is gonna be the third year that they're here. They're really starting to root in. One thing I would do differently for landscape stuff, I know the landscape fabric is something that helps a lot of people, but their roots were like growing over top of some of that stuff. And I just feel like if you put down a layer of really good mulch or compost and then mulch, I just think it would be better that way than doing the landscape fabric, which it works for some people, but like I did not like the one that we used. And then here, I actually just planted this. This is Rudbeckia, or Black-Eyed Susan if you're familiar with it being called that. Then we have some zebra grass. In here I have 2 lilies that look a little sad. They kind of get trampled a lot because our dogs seem to like the idea of running through here. Then I planted echinacea here as well, so this is going to fill in and get that purple color. Here's another rose. I really fertilize these on a regular schedule now because last year they did not do very well. So I made sure to fertilize those, and they have buds on it now, so that's great. I have a lavender that came back. Up here in the front, eventually I want to do perennials, but I'm just going to do annuals until I kind of figure out what I want. These are beautiful. I'm not sure the name. I will put it on the screen though. Beautiful perennials. I really honestly would love to just line the front of this bed with this bright pink. I love the like silvery color of the foliage down below. So that would just look really pretty to just fill this whole entire front. This is a perennial as well. Not sure what that's called. I will look it up and put it on the screen. This is another just landscape rose that has the really fragrant flowers. That is a Rudbeckia as well that I just planted this year. This is milkweed. Probably gonna tear it out. They do not do well for me, so I don't know. Same bush as over there. Here I have, I don't know. I will put the name of these on the screen. So there's 3 of them and all of my tulip waste that I didn't put away. And then that is just a locust bush. My husband said that you can shape them and make them look pretty, so yeah, it's going. And then I have 2 hydrangeas, one right here, one right here. Kind of on the smaller side, really hard. If you have deer, you need to make sure that you spray anything that is not deer resistant really, really well if you live in a wooded area like I do. Then here, we have our little holly bushes, male and female, so that they have berries. This is all my tulip area, and I cut like a bunch of the yellow stuff off. I actually just planted this year, this hydrangea. This is a Tough Stuff Aha hydrangea. So it does not need a lot of sun, which is why I planted it back here. It is high deer resistant, which is wonderful. And it grows 2 to 3 feet tall and wide. So it's gonna really just like fill in. Let me step back just a little bit here. It'll really fill in this area. Back here, which I needed some color. I can get it to focus. There. So it'll really fill in this back area, which will be really, really pretty seeing that color. I'm gonna step out here. I have hosta lining there, and these are evergreen shrubs. And then down the driveway, I don't know if you can see it, there's hosta lined on both sides, which I have to spray those really, really well or the deer will eat them. And then we have this, it was like a nursery seconds, so it's like not a perfect tree. It's a blood good Japanese maple. And then we have 2 little Japanese maples on the other side. We actually planted a willow 2 years ago, and that one's growing really, really well as well. Then I'm gonna go up here and show you my other flower pots that line our stairway up to our house. Hi puppies! These are little baby labs. Yeah, and you're such a beautiful little babies. Yes you are. Yes you are, I know. Okay, so here, these pots are all the same, except for the sweet potato vine. That one is a little bit different than the 2 pots that have the bright green. Okay, like I was saying, before I went inside and ate dinner, here I did the same pots, the walkway area. We have a crawling one, and this is, I'm actually not even sure what that one's called. I don't know, it's just a really pretty. Down here, I have to get like a little spiller yet for these pots, finish them off. They're just the same. And here's the rest of my super petunias to go in the landscape. I did a row of lavender up, well maybe, if I get my finger out of the way. The Sweet Romance lavender beside here, smells amazing. Still have a bunch of celery, not sure what I'm gonna do with it. And then here, I just put my dill and cilantro in this pot until I repot it into just a little larger. And then here's just my leftover seedlings. I'm actually gonna do a giveaway for tomato plants and pepper plants for anybody who wants them, because I am not gonna have room to put them all in my garden, which is okay. I'm glad I had a lot of extra, because then, you know, if one plant didn't make it or something like that, I still had something to put in the garden. So out here, I actually just got done doing this yesterday. I have a little herb area on this side. My mom actually gave me that Cosmo basket. I did this one. Is all just flowers. In the middle there's a rockin' fuchsia salvia. This is larkspur, so that's a pollinator attractor. That is hyssop, lavender, and then some rosemary. And then there I have borage. I have chamomile and rosemary in the front, which when that stuff gets bigger, I'm gonna have to transplant it somewhere else since it's a perennial. And then in this first raised bed area, right there are my peas. They are slowly starting to grab on. I feel like the other peas on the other side, that variety has done better. And then this is all carrots here in the middle. This is the, I'm not sure which kind. I think this is the multicolored one. I will put the name for sure on the screen. Up here are the last of my radishes that have not been picked. I actually picked some. I need to take those inside and put them in cold water. And then here I have broccoli and Brussels sprouts and cabbage in the back. Go through my little arbor. My cucumber seeds just came up right here. So on this side I have the straight eights, and then on this side I'm gonna have the homemade pickle that'll be climbing up this trellis over the top, and then this one's gonna climb up this way. And then in this bed I have cauliflower plants. This is all Detroit dark red. I have 3 rows of that, and then the front row is early wonder beets, and then I have the cosmic purple carrots over here. You can see the rows there of carrots. These are Oregon sugar pod peas, and these are growing, like you can tell these are already up to like past the second part of this trellis, and the other ones are not. And I'm trying to get them to grab onto this trellising to climb up. We're getting there. But yeah, so those are just gonna climb up that side. For next year, I already made a note for myself to only plant peas on one arbor, and then, or one trellis, and then do more cucumbers and stuff like that. And then here I have a sun gold pole tomato. It's a cherry tomato. And then I have red pride, which is a slicer or a sauce tomato. And then this is red pride as well. Ace 55, which is a sauce tomato. Here are some pineapple tomatoes that I'm gonna put one of them in a pot. I want one of these, and then the rest I'm just gonna give away. And then here's more banana peppers. And then here I have a garden gem cherry tomato. It's a red. And then I have some more marigolds that need to go in the garden somewhere. On this side I have a Roma tomato, some basil plants up in the front here. That's a Roma tomato. This and this is also Roma. So I have 4 Roma plants, and then a garden gem cherry tomato right there. That bed's doing well. Over here, this part in between like this row of marigolds and that one, I have, that's actually funny, all of my marigolds are orange except for this one row. I just grabbed a whole bunch of them. Oh, so I obviously grabbed a yellow one. So I have 2 mounds of the Cantaloupe Melons that'll grow in this. Along the front here I have celery. Not sure how that's gonna do. This is the first time I've ever grown it, so we'll see. My corn actually just popped up. If you can see, let me get a little closer here. These little shoots. This is the Three Sisters garden method. So in between each corn, when they get more established, I'm going to be planting beans. The beans will grow up the corn stalks, and then here in these empty areas, I will be putting squash. And then over here in this area, I have watermelon. And then over here is a different variety of sweet corn, which now since it's up, I can pick my weeds again. Wonderful. This is my pepper bed side. Over here I have California Wonder, sweet pepper blend. So like yellow, orange, red blends. In the middle I have 2 banana pepper plants. So this is another Sun Gold cherry tomato yellow variety. I planted a bunch of those because they are really, really delicious. And then over here, hop over on this other side, I have, these are my indeterminates in this bed, and then over there are more like the bush indeterminate varieties. Kind of wanted to keep them separate so I know how to prune this side versus that side. So I have 2 beefsteak tomato plants, what is this? Oh, 3 beefsteak plants. And then these are garden treasures. Those are the only 2 indeterminate kinds that I did, was the garden treasure and the beefsteak tomatoes, which these are putting on a bunch of new growth finally. It felt like they took a while until they started really pushing growth, and I put just a light layer of compost on them, and it rained on top of that just recently here, so I'm really excited to see those starting to grow. This basil variety on this side is Pesto Besto. That contains the in-ground area in the raised beds, and then my green stalk I will show you yet. How pretty! I'm really glad we did grass in the middle, because it just like is a very eye-pleasing place to look with grass in there. It needs to be mowed, but that's okay. Okay, so I did Cherry Falls tomatoes in the top of these, which you can see. So when they start growing sideways like this, they sprout shoots to grow up when the plant isn't staked. So it grows shoots to grow up and produce more fruit. So that's kind of just going to drape over the side of this, and they're cherry tomatoes as well. And then I did nasturtium in the other ones. This is the Cherry Falls. I actually have to spray these with something because I see powdery mildew, which is really weird because this gets the most wind. But I have 1 nasturtium that came up out of the other 4 that did not. And then this layer is lettuce. I'm not sure how it's going to do with it getting this hot, but I have lettuce around that row. I did marigold in this layer to just help with bugs and stuff like that. And then the bottom tiers are herbs. So I have, let's see here. This is rosemary. This is marjoram. And this is English thyme right here. You can see English thyme in both of those. And then my fennel actually just came up, so that's right there. And my lemon balm didn't make it or something. And then the bottom here I have chives all along the bottom of this tier. Really impressed with this. I just think it's a really neat idea to have a green stalk like that. And then over here I have more borage, which I separated out a little bit. I need to do some more. Then I have these really pretty Alaska nasturtiums, so they get yellow and red flowers. Oh, I see seeds! Right there, that tiny little green speck. That is my cucamelon plant. Yay! I was hoping those come up soon. And so on this arbor, I'm gonna have to add little sticks or rope or something for that to be able to climb up and over the arbor. I didn't do anything on the other side. I kind of want to do a flower now, since I have the cucamelon on one side, do a flower on the other, just to like add some, I don't know, pretty colors. But that is it. That is all of my garden for this year, and I'll be doing another update in June and then July and August until the garden is gone. And you can kind of follow along, see how everything grows. Really excited just to see how everything does with this being my first year, having this much space to plant a bunch of things. So that's gonna be it. I'm gonna head inside, spend time with my family tonight, and I will see you next time. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Thanks for touring my garden, and I appreciate the support very, very much. We'll see you guys later. Bye.